Welcome back to another episode of my Immigrant Diary, the space where we unpack the journeys, the struggles, and the headlines that defines the immigrant experience. I'm your host, Precious.
And my name is Wale.
All right, Wale, great. Hey, it's packed. We have a lot to talk about. I would like to jump right into it. Our first story is a big one for anybody currently navigating the U.S. immigration system. A U.S. judge recently rejected an attempt by the Trump administration to freeze the process of certain immigration applications. The court basically said you cannot just hit pause on people's lives without a valid and legal justification. Honestly, this is a relief for families who have been stuck in limbo. It shows that the legal system still has checks and balances. So if you're waiting on your paperwork, this is a glimmer of hope that you might need this week. Wale?
Yes, so I think probably about several episodes ago, we talked about how about 75 countries or so were either permanently banned or partially banned from the US. And from what I've researched so far, it is actually citizens of those countries that are having issues applying for their immigration benefit, whether it's a green card, whether you're trying to naturalize, whether you're trying to even apply for H-1B. It's affecting everyone. So a lot of, especially the H-1B folks, a lot of them were automatically denied, and a lot of them had to return to their home countries. But for those who actually have green card and those who are in the process of becoming United States citizens, I think this because if you think about it, when you got to the point where you are actually applying for a green card, it means that you want to live in the United States. And when you're applying to be a United States citizen, it means that you've decided to commit yourself to the United States. So it takes a lot of emotional to a lot of mental toll to see that a lot of people are just waiting without knowing. They don't even have an idea when the application is going to move forward. It was just blocked, just like that. It's something that you see in the American system, the American government system, where you actually see that, okay, fine, like when the executive branch of the government, whether it's the executive branch or any of the other branches, if they are trying to do something, there's always checks and balances. And in this case, it's the judicial branch that is able to provide the check and balance for whatever actions the executive branch is doing. So yeah, it's great news. I hope that those who are affected, they quickly get their responses as quickly as possible, because even the process itself, even without this hurdle, it takes years to get to this point. It's already extremely taxing. Tasking is already extremely stressful. This is a welcome development.
You're right, Wale. Well said. Honestly, this is something that's exciting to really hear, because a lot of people are in that process. I have someone who I spoke with who just, was just excited. As we speak, I think they got the citizenship approved and they've gone for their naturalization. And this was something that they've been waiting for since last year, when the administration decided to put a pause on the process. So even those who were putting in, who were waiting for just their naturalization ceremony, were affected, and therefore they couldn't do anything. You're just in limbo, waiting endlessly without a time frame. But as soon as this story came out that the US just decided to throw it out, there have been some movement. There have been some news about the fact that people have gotten notifications, and some of them have been informed that their process is moving. So if you know anyone who is in the process, please, talk to them, hang out with them, get some more information. If you are maybe isolated in this case where you don't have people to talk to, while, in similar standing, find people, like, if you have anyone like that, talk to them. Maybe they've gotten news or gotten word from USCIS or they've been informed that their process is moving. So yes, this is real, this is true, and this is happening. So great win, I would say, for the community. So moving on, right? Something I want to quickly talk about. So, Wale, this is a weird story I'm about to share. You know how we talk about okay, no, let me just go right into it.
Is it that weird?
It's weird. I don't even know where to start from, but let me just it sounds like something from a cynical movie, or just, it doesn't make sense. But it happens. But this is it. An American man seeking asylum in Northern Ireland was recently arrested because this man was arrested after claiming he wanted to raise an army to reclaim the United States for the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth. Now you know that Queen Elizabeth passed away in 2021. So this has to be some anyways. Belfast, and I caught in Belfast, heard how he intended to invade the US to restore the British monarchy. This is a wide reminder, right? That the asylum system does see all kinds of cases. While most people are fleeing war and persecution, you occasionally get someone trying to start a medieval crusade. It is funny, but it's also serious because it puts a strain on the system for people who actually need protection, who need
Exactly.
this asylum approval.
Exactly. So, like you said, it's really weird. Now that I've read it out loud, how do you again? So let me, I want to try to imagine like its thought process is like, okay, fine. The U.S. is in decline for what I'm not sure what its reasons are, and then decides that the best course of action is to actually have the British invade US and then make it a part of their colony. That hasn't even happened in a long time. Like, you know, if you think about the way the world is operating at the moment, countries have not invaded to make a country a colony in a long time. Maybe they want to conquer it, that's fine, but to make it a colony like it used to be,
That's so funny.
and then bring it back under the monarchy, like even I'm just right, and then for someone who has passed away. So yeah, the UK
Yeah.
currently has a king there, right? King Charles.
Yes, King
So
Charles.
he's not doing it for King Charles. He's
No, for
doing it
Queen
for someone
Elizabeth.
else.
Then that's when you begin to question the sanity of this person or the state of the person's mind. But also, Wally, the fact that he's a US citizen who is seeking asylum on that world ground, like, do you get what that world ground are you seeking asylum? So
I
typically, you're seeking asylum because there are people running from war, from threat of
Yes.
life, and all that. Do you get?
I don't know. I can't say, but maybe he feels like he's being threatened by his local authority. I mean, yeah, people can experience fear or danger. Like people's work experiences typically are unique to them. But for me, I'm not even concerned about. I'm not so much concerned about. I'm concerned about the fact that he went through the step to actually try to draft legal he forged legal documents to start to try to initiate the process of invading the United States from Northern Ireland.
That's just
So,
ridiculous. That's just ridiculous, Wally.
I don't know. It's definitely ridiculous. I'm also thankful that when you hear about news like this, you understand that fine. Like there's a lot of sane system in the West, and they can identify people like this and understand that okay, this person is committing a crime, regardless of their mental state. They are committing a crime, and even if there is a low probability of success with that kind of crime, if you leave those kind of people unattended, eventually they would have harm someone. They might not harm a lot of people as much as they want to. Eventually, they will harm someone. It's important that you deal with a crime. You deal with as soon as it happens. So I'm glad that we can get news like this. Well, apparently, a lot of people just love the British monarchy.
Okay, all right then. Shifting gear to something closer to home and a bit somber, right? We often talk about success stories, but we have to also talk about the reality of crime within the immigrant community to keep it real. So recently, ICE conducted a targeted operation in Brooklyn, New York. They arrested a Nigerian national called Chidozie Okeke. Now, according to DHS, he is described as a criminal illegal alien with a history of assault and criminal drug possession. This is a tough part of the immigrant diary, but we have to always talk about stuff like this. As a community, we work so hard to build a good reputation. When someone involved in drug and violence makes the headline, it kind of affects and rubs off on everyone and makes us look bad. But this is something we have to deal with.
Yes, I would say there is In general, one of the reasons why we'll talk about this is so that, especially, if you come across this video, you understand that we don't stand for crimes. Like those are not our values. We want to be expose it as much as possible. And also, there are actually a lot more. Most immigrants don't think about crime; they just go about their day and do whatever it is
Definitely.
they are doing. But it is unfortunate that this person chose to live a life of crime. They have a fantastic opportunity to be able to do something else, learn, go to school, learn a professional skill, become a professional later in life, and they just decided to resort to a life of crime. And I saw the video that was released about it. It was really sad to see that he was even resisting arrests and trying to make himself a nuisance during the arrest. And it's really sad to see someone that at that stage in life being that way. So I'm not sure what the circumstances of life led him to that, but it's really sad to see. But if you have already committed this set of crimes and you don't have your document in the right order in the United States, then you have the government has every right to deport you. Something I also like, I appreciate rather about about America, even generally in the West, is that most people, although there is a tendency for stereotypes to be generated from these kinds of stories, most people don't think that way. So they know how to separate people from stereotypes. And that's something I appreciate about the West.
I kind of agree with you, Wale, on that one because is it like a double-edged sword, but one side is quite blunt. But that's where I put it. Stories like this kind of generate some stereotypes, but like I said, one side is blunt. It's not necessarily everyone who goes around with the stereotype in mind, and making judgment of other people. So yes, I agree with you on that one. Well said. Speaking of legal issues, right? Two immigration lawyers were recently arrested in the UK after a BBC investigation. The investigation found that these lawyers were actually coaching asylum seekers to lie, telling them to claim they are gay to qualify for protection even when they aren't. This is so damaging. It hurts the LGBTQ plus migrants who are actually in danger in their home countries and need that protection. When lawyers manufacture lies or stories like this, it makes the Home Office suspicious of everyone and every applicant. It's a shortcut that ends up cutting the ground out from under the feet of honest applicants. Integrity matters in this journey.
Absolutely. It's again, it's another starting to say, but also crazy. Why would lawyers be doing this? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, to get their money paid, to get
Is it?
full
Yeah, but
payments.
like when you approach a lawyer, or is it that they expect payment in the future? Typically, you pay them initially, right? You have a prepayment, and they should offer you a service, or is it that like
Yeah, I
they have
mean,
a
it depends.
running
It depends
program?
on the process, Wally. I'll tell you for from what I know, I think it depends on the process. Some processes you have to. Some law firm would, and depending on the case, we might take up front maybe 50%, maybe at completion you pay. Some would take consultancy, and maybe some will split it per tax, like maybe filing, maybe representation, maybe final approval, maybe something like that. So depending on how it's been structured, and sometimes people get so caught up, in trying to ensure that their clients get the best outcome, and so possibly this is why these lawyers went that route. But unfortunately for them, they are the scapegoat in this whole, situation.
Now, this is another thing of concern for me. If they, yeah, not necessarily even regarding immigration now. Now, if you can have lawyers, immigration lawyers doing this, how many other lawyers are doing something like this?
Good question.
So it's some of the things that makes it very discouraging when I'm thinking about the law, judicial system, especially for a lot of people that might feel like they're innocent in several cases. Maybe their lawyer, either the opposing lawyer, even their lawyer is just doing something that is against their interest illegally, especially in this case. Really, if you are going to apply for asylum, be honest. And I think the challenge for most people is that they feel like they don't have a good case. that they want to appeal or use something that a lot of people respond with strong emotions to. Like if you if you are in the or in the LGBTQ community and you are coming from other countries or a country where they don't look like they don't appreciate those kind of lifestyle or they persecute you for that kind of lifestyle, and you are moving to a country that actually want to protect people in those category, they think that they can take advantage of that because just irregular violence is no longer enough for them to make their case. But that's not how the law works. The law looks, you have to be able to make something that is very well presentable to the immigration courts, and then they will make the decision. Asylum is not the end of the world. So that's what I'm trying to say. There are many other opportunities in life that you can, routes in life that you can try to go through. But then again, I don't know how people can be very desperate. That I cannot. It doesn't help anyone if the applicant is lying, then the representative who is a lawyer is also lying. It doesn't help anyone in the long run.
Yeah, they just basically purge themselves according to the way it says in and the movie called Suit. Cannot purge myself. Anyway, let's end on a high note, just like we started, right? For our healthcare professionals out there, there's been some movement on what's being called the doctor freeze here in the US. It has been reported that some of the administrative hurdles holding back foreign trained doctors have been lifted. This is great for the US healthcare system, which is facing a shortage, and great for immigrants, especially immigrant medics who have been waiting to practice. Take this information, go check out if you're in the healthcare profession and find out how you can take advantage of it.
Yes, please. I'm not sure how this story also affects the initial story that we got about the first story that we talked about. But I'm sure there is some sort of relationship or
Yes, Wally. There's
yeah,
there's
where they
there's some
interact.
relationship, but it's completely different because in this case, some of the healthcare professionals are not. They have different visa category. If you remember, I talked about one visa pathway for nurses, one of our
Yeah,
videos.
yeah,
So so
yeah.
there are different visa categories for these healthcare professionals. That's not necessarily H1B. The other,
There's not an immigrant visa.
yeah, the other pathways.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense then. So yeah, it's unfortunately for others, there's nothing from the administration right now, but there's something I've been aware of for a very long time is that there has always been a huge need for medical professionals all over the world, whether you're a medical doctor or you're a nurse, or you have some sort of specialization in the field. There's always been a huge demand. And for me, this is one of those things I see that is helpful or is encouraging from the administration. The court didn't have to force them. They saw that it's not something that is beneficial. I mean, I'm talking about the Trump administration now. They saw that it's not something that's beneficial to the country, and they reversed course. But I hope that this is something that they can continue to do to review their process to see that is this something that is our policy to restrict as much immigrants that is coming to the US? Is it something that is beneficial to the US or not? So this is something that is encouraging in that sense that they do see that this is something that is not beneficial. So, they decide to reverse their decision.
That's great. That's also all the time for today. From the Queen's armies to the landmark court rulings, the immigrant diary is never empty. So make sure to check the show notes in the description to find links to some of the stories we talked about. Follow us on YouTube, like and subscribe. And over to
Yes,
you, Ali.
thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.
All right then. Bye now.